This is part 2 of true SMC from A to Z market structure mapping. So without further ado, let's dive in. On the previous part of this video course, we learned about how to identify a valid pullback. And the reason as to why I started with that part before this is because we will be using that concept in this part. So if you didn't watch part 1, I will recommend you to go back and watch that video first before you come into this part. So let's continue. Alright, so how do we identify a valid break of structure in a bullish scenario? When you see price is forming valid pullbacks to the upside like this, and price reverses and takes at least one pullback, mostly the recent one is the one that we need, like the recent one. Once the recent one is taken, like the low is taken, and by the way, this here is in a bullish scenario. Once this low is taken, or it doesn't matter, price may decide to go even further, taking these two or just taking the second one and again reversing back and breaking past this swing point. All right, when you see such a pattern, when price has been forming valid pullbacks to the upside like this, and then it reverses back and takes this pullback that was recently formed, like the low of that pullback that was recently formed, takes it out, or even better, goes further and takes out these other pullbacks before now it reverses back, breaking past this high, then we'll be confirming this one here is a valid break of structure. And by the way, this here is in a bullish scenario. So how do we identify the same, or how do we identify a break of structure in a bearish scenario? Obviously, you can guess it's actually the opposite of this. So in a bearish scenario, we will be waiting for such a pattern where price is forming valid pullbacks to the downside like this, and then reverses back and takes at least one high of the valid pullback. And by the way, the keyword here is valid, not just a random pullback, I mean a valid pullback. That's the reason as to why I'm saying, if you didn't watch the previous part where I was actually diving into how to identify valid pullbacks, go back and watch that video before we can continue with this part. All right, let's continue. So once price takes out this high and again reverses back, breaking past this swing point, then we can confirm this one here to be a valid pullback. What I mean is that price is forming valid pullbacks to the downside like this, and then it reverses and takes out at least one high of a valid pullback, and then reverses again and breaks past this swing point, then this one here will be a confirmed valid break of structure. The reason as to why this here is to be confirmed as a valid break of structure is because there is some liquidity that is resting above these highs of these valid pullbacks. That is buy side liquidity, because these are highs. And in case of the bullish, there is some sell side liquidity resting below the lows. All right, so let's now make all this practical by shifting into the real chart. So right here on this chart, we can clearly see that price has been forming valid pullbacks to the downside. That's the first pullback. Then again another pullback, and then price now reversed, took out the highs of these two valid pullbacks, and then reversed again and braked past this swing point. And this is the exactly pattern that I was showcasing, that once you see such a pattern, then this one here will be a confirmed valid break of structure on to the downside. Now we can start marking the structure because we have identified the current BOS, or current break of structure. So right here, you can clearly see this here was the pullback highs, and you can clearly see that price has taken them, like price has grabbed that liquidity that was resting above this pullback right here by this move that went up, and then reversed back. As you can see, price reversed back right here, reversed back, breaking past this swing point, confirming this one here as a valid break of structure. So this means now we have formed a new trading range, because this one here is a valid break of structure, and we are currently in a new trading range that obviously it will be ranging from this high and all the way to the current low that we are currently in. And where is the low that we are currently in? Obviously this here down, this one here. So let's see if price will continue going down or if price will reverse. All right, so let me run price. Right here, we can clearly see that price is reversing into the range. So this means that now is the high time to identify the valid pullback, the recently formed valid pullback, because we said that we need a break past the recently formed valid pullback. And by the way, the break can be by a wick or a candle close. And right here on this trading range, where is the recently formed valid pullback? All right, this one here, is this here a recent, like, is this here a valid pullback? I can zoom in so that you can check if this one here is indeed a valid pullback. And right here, we can clearly see that this one here is not a valid pullback, and this is just a move to the downside, and that is made up of some bullish candle. That's not a valid pullback. Right, so back into the range. Where is the valid pullback in our range? Right here, we can spot the valid pullback. We can clearly see that this red candle, this one here, breaked past the highest point of this bullish indecision candle. This confirms this part here is a valid pullback. And where is the high of that pullback? All right, the high of that pullback is obviously this one here. And so if we get a break past this high, either by a wick or by a candle close, and then reverses back to break the structure, like, and then reverses back to break past this swing point, then this one here will be a confirmed valid break of structure to the downside. Right, so let me continue running price. Right here, we can clearly see that price is heading up, and exactly right here, price has swept or has grabbed this liquidity that was resting above this high. I can actually zoom in so that we can clearly see what was happening here. You can clearly see that this here is the high, and price just wicked above and reversed. This means that it swept or grabbed the liquidity right here. You can clearly see, if you don't see, yeah, this one, you can clearly see that price wicked above here, wicked above, meaning it swept the liquidity that was resting above this high, this valid pullback. We say this liquidity is buy side liquidity, and once price sweeps that liquidity and then reverses back, breaking past that swing point, then that will be a confirmed valid break of structure to the downside. So let's see if price eventually makes it to that to this swing point right here. All right, so, and right here you can clearly see that price is heading to the downside. Right right here, is this a break? Yeah, this now was not a break. All right, and so let's wait and see if price will break past this, because if price breaks past this, then that will be a confirmed break, with this one here being our high of that newly formed trading range. So let me continue running price. All right, exactly right here, we can spot that we have identified a break right here. That's a break, and by the way, this break is by a wick. It's a break by a wick past this swing point. So in this point, do we confirm this one here to be a valid break of structure to the downside? Right, when you see something like this, that on the previous, because this one here was the previous swing point right here, this here was the previous swing point. So if you see that price like retraces, takes out the pullback, like grabs that liquidity and then reversed back and closes past this, then this one here is a confirmed valid break of structure, because we can clearly see that there is closures past this. This, you can see this here was where price closed before, and then we can see closures like past that before price eventually closed below the lowest point right here by a wick. We can clearly see that price closed by a candle close. So in this scenario, I usually confirm this one here is a valid break of structure. So this means that we have formed a new trading range. So let's mark where the trading range high is and where the trading range low is. All right, where is, so actually this one here is the swing point, and also this one is the swing point. We don't know if price will continue, so let's see. All right, this here is the high. All right, so the high is this one, so meaning now this here is our new trading range, meaning now the high has shifted from where it was before, which is this one here. It has shifted to this one here. So this one here is our new trading range, ranging from that high all the way to this low currently, to this low. So if we see price breaks past this high, because this here is the recently formed pullback high, you can clearly see that there has been some pullbacks in between here, but the low, it is this one here. The low that of this internal structure is that one, and so there is no any break past this. So obviously anything that is happening here is not considered, so we just consider the high right there. So if price comes all the way, takes this high, and then, so by that I mean that if price comes back like this, grabs this high, and then reverses back, breaking past this low, then this one here will be a confirmed break of structure. So let's see what price will do. Let me run price and see what price eventually does. All right, and right here we can clearly see price eventually breaked past the, right here we can clearly see price breaked past this, and also breaked past our previous range high. So this confirms that price has shifted bias from being a downtrend to being an uptrend. So this one here is a break of structure to the upside, and we needed a break of structure to the downside. So a break of structure to the upside, we usually call this a shift in market structure or a change in character. So this means now we are no longer bearish, we are now bullish. Right here, where is our range high and where is our range low? Currently our range low is this one here, and our range high is that one there. And by the way, this here is a break by a week, and we say that if it's a break by a week, you just consider the recently swing point closure there, and you can clearly see price breaked past that one by a candle closure. So this is a confirmed change of character. All right, so let me continue. Right here, this here was a valid pullback. If you can clearly see, this one here was a valid pullback. Right here, this was a valid pullback, and then so price has taken out the valid pullback, and we say that we need a pullback to be taken right here, like the recently formed pullback low. Since we're in an uptrend, obviously it will be the low, and then breaking past this high to confirm that this here is a valid break of structure. So let's see if price does that. And currently here we can clearly see that price went forward breaking past this high. So will we confirm this one here to be a valid break of structure? All right, so let's all right, so where is our low of the previous, like where is our low, our trading range low? Right here, our trading range low is this one here. So if I grab the Fibonacci tool, and you can clearly see my levels, and I drag all the way to this high, you can clearly see that this, even though the price has grabbed that liquidity and reversed back breaking past that high, this will still not be considered to be a valid break of structure. The reason as to why it will not be considered to be a break of structure is because this retracement is very small, and we need a retracement of at least that 8.2 plus these candles that, like these opposing candles that grab the liquidity, they are less than 3. We need at least 3, and then the retracement should be past the 38.2. So meaning now this low shifts here. So meaning now this one here becomes the low of the pullback that we will be waiting for price to take out before we consider a valid break of structure. All right, so let me continue running price, and we can clearly see that price reversed back and took out the liquidity, or grabbed the liquidity that was resting below this low. All right, so this confirms this one here to be a valid swing point, and if price comes in, and if price reverses back and breaks past this swing point, then that's a confirmed break of structure to the upside. All right, so let me continue running price. Right here, price is heading even further down, and you can clearly see it even take out another liquidity right here. It even grabbed another liquidity right there, and probably it mitigated another, like it mitigated a POI right here. But don't worry about the POIs, we'll be discussing this as we continue with the video course. And then it reversed back, probably it will break past this high to confirm this one here to be a valid break. And right there we can see that this here is a break. we say that even a break by a week, sometimes it can be considered valid. All right, so that's a break, and this means that this one here is a low. How can we confirm a break by a week? Obviously, we said right here on the previous swing point closure, candle closure, we usually mark that and we see if that break by a week, there is a body closure past it. And we can clearly see that this, like this bullish candle, breaked past this. Even though this here is a break by a week, this here is a confirmed valid break of structure. So meaning now we have acquired ourselves a new trading range, with this one here being the low and obviously the high currently at here. So let's see how price does. By the way, this one here is the recently formed pullback low, meaning if price grabs the liquidity resting below this low, then we will, and then reverses back to break past this high, then this high will be a confirmed valid break of structure. So right here you can see that price retraces back and grabs the liquidity resting below this low, and let's see if price eventually breaks. Exactly, you can see price eventually breaks past this swing point. So this one here is a confirmed valid break of structure. So this means now our low of the trading range shifts, this one here shifts to this low, meaning now we are currently in a new trading range. So this one here is our new low, meaning we are currently in a new trading range, and this one here is a valid break of structure. Right, so where now is the recently formed valid pullback? Right, so let me continue running price, and exactly right here we can clearly see that the recently formed valid pullback is this one here. That's the recently formed valid pullback. And so if price comes and breaks past this one here, or price reverses back and grabs the liquidity resting below this low and then reverses back and breaks past that swing point, then it will be a confirmed break of structure. So let me continue running price, and exactly right here we can clearly see a retracement, price grabbing this pullback right there and also taking out this one here. All right, I'm sorry, this is not a valid pullback, but anyway, we only want a grab past the recently formed pullback. We only need that. We don't like if price comes all the way down and takes another ones like below here, this one here is not a valid. So if price comes and takes another one here, that's an extra. So that's an extra, so it doesn't matter, we only need this one. And so right now if price breaks past this high, then this one here will be a confirmed valid break of structure. All right, and right here, all right, price reversed back and then eventually it braked past this high right here. You can clearly see price braked past that high there with a candle closure exactly right here. So this means again we have formed a new trading range with the low right here, with the low right there, and the high obviously currently there. So we have our new trading range right here. This here is the low of the trading range. So let me continue marking price. And right here, where is, you can see price is now printing valid break of structures to the upside. Right here, you can clearly see price is printing valid break of structures to the upside. This one here is a valid break of structure, and this one here is the recently formed one. Then here, another one, another one, another one. So all of these are valid pullbacks, and below this, on the lows of these valid pullbacks, there is liquidity, and so we need price to reverse to grab this liquidity. It doesn't matter how many lows, or it doesn't matter how many lows it takes. It doesn't matter how many lows it takes. We only need at least one, the previous one of course. And once price grabs that and reverses back, breaking past this swing point, then that's a confirmed valid break of structure. So let's see what price does. All right, and right here we can clearly see price reversed. Exactly right here, price reversed and took out two lows. Right here we can clearly see that price took out these two lows, and then right now if price reverses and breaks past this swing point, then this one here will be a confirmed valid break of structure. So let's see. and exactly right there, price breaks past this swing point. So this confirms that one is a valid break of structure. And also this says that we are currently in a new trading range, and the range obviously starts from this low or ranges from that low and currently ends at this high. So this means that this one here is our range low and our range high is currently at this high. And so guys, let me not make the video long. I believe you have understood like how do we mark the market structure. And if you made it this far, I can say that we are enjoying the video. So drop a like if you have not. And if you didn't, tap the dislike button twice just to be sure. Anyway, see you in the next part.